The situation in Jagersfontein remains dire. Communities remain displaced and many children have been separated from their families. Residents feel neglected as there is no communication regarding the way forward. Tomorrow, Jagersfontein residents are expected to return home, but they're afraid to go back and they're claiming that government and the mine management have offered no guarantees regarding the stability of what remains of the dam wall. For more on this, we're joined by attorney Andries Nkome, who's representing the Kopanong Local municipality as well as the residents of Jagersfontein. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Mr. Nkome. Let's start with the current situation. It is expected and has been reported that people are set to return to their respective homes tomorrow from the different hotels that they've been placed in over the last 2 weeks. But many of them don't really have homes to go back to. So what exactly has been communicated to them as to where their residents are going to be?
Good morning and thanks for having me. What we've been able to assess out of the situation in Jagersfontein is that many people are still destitute. Many people are still residing in hotels, and they haven't essentially been informed as to where exactly are they going to be located as soon as they are taken back to Jagersfontein. So there's a lot of confusion, and it's a situation that's untenable.
It is untenable, and of course there are worries that the sludge that has covered many of the homes and the infrastructure in Jagersfontein could be toxic. The levels are uncertain as yet. Are there any investigations, according to your knowledge, about the levels of toxicity and whether the area in general is safe for people to return to? If not tomorrow, then perhaps at a later time.
In the past week on Wednesday, we had a meeting with the mining company, and it stated that it's making an offer for the repair of the broken and damaged houses. Now, what we said to them was that what we wish for is essentially that they must give us an indication, a report by an expert that says the dam wall is secure, that says even if there could be more rains, there isn't going to be any further damage to the dam wall, because there is no purpose for one to try and repair a damaged property when there's still a risk that the dam wall itself would collapse. So we are not getting a sense of where all of this is coming, but we're making sure as a law firm to appoint on our own behalf people that are going to make sure that they make assessments and can give us advice as to how best we make sure that this situation is avoided.
What kind of other assistance, apart from that, is it that you're offering to the clients that you have now taken on to represent?
We are giving legal advice, and we are making sure that we do a study in respect of who is supposed to be held both criminally as well as civilly liable. Now you would understand that DMR went in the past week and stated that there isn't any mining license under which the mining dam is operated. And by our understanding, at this point at least, the dam is supposed to be operated under a mining license and not under a water permit. So therefore, we are making the study, we are giving legal advice, and we are assisting, like already we have stated to the municipality, that they should go and open up criminal cases for the police to investigate and make a report as to what needs to be the outcome, who was supposed to have been criminally held liable for this. So we are going also on the process of quantifying the value of the damage that has been suffered by the municipality itself, as well as by the respective residents.
It's an interesting point you raised there around licenses, Mr. Nkome, because if it's not just the mining company that should be held liable criminally in this instance, then what about the department that issued the license and issued the incorrect license? Do you think that accountability should come from there as well?
We are busy with a process of making a determination as to who is supposed to be held liable. Now, if the outcomes of our investigations concludes that even the government is supposed to be held liable, we'll hold the government liable. We'll make sure that we go to the courts and get them to compensate and make sure that the fears of our people about exposure to environmental hazards, it's paid for accordingly. If people are supposed to be relocated from the respective areas, the government, if it's a liable party, must make sure that they are relocated.
And of course, this process is not going to be a quick process, Mr. Nkome. I mean, I think it's something that might drag out for a long time, given that everybody involved in this situation is pointing fingers at each other and no one has come forth to say, we made a mistake and we'll make things right.
In as much as we think it's not going to be a short process to arrive at the conclusions of all of these matters, because it's a calamity. The number of people that are involved, the extent of damage that has been suffered. Like, for example, you'd realize that some experts have gone in and tried to assess whether they could repair the sewer system and water reticulation system, as well as the power supply systems. But they realized that this mud, this sludge that has gone into the sewer systems and water systems has dried up. So instead of trying to unclog that blocked pipes, there is no way in which they can do so. They've got to redo the whole system to a very large extent. So the extent of time that it's going to take, it's going to be quite long. But we are glad that government is coming to say, let's make sure that we get people to be a bit comfortable as we work around making sure that we do a study of what transpired and how best to deal with the damage and to make sure that people are compensated. So we are glad that there's some progress, and we are happy that as a result of our involvement as Pasadiots, we've been able to get to some process that is assisting the people in Jagersfontein.
And as a legal body, I'm sure you're also starting to have conversations around preventative measures, making sure that a calamity of this nature doesn't happen again, not just in the Free State, but anywhere else in the country.
It is only a pity that we had a meeting with a lawyer that represents the mine, and he was making an offer about seeking to settle the damage that took place in. One, he had not brought anything in black and white that says he represents a particular party, and that party is the one that says it's responsible for what transpired in Jagersfontein, and they are seeking to make sure that they hold hands and have a settlement. So we're going to have a long way in trying to undo what transpired in Jagersfontein. But our study is, in my view, also going to assist in making sure that something similar to Jagersfontein does not happen anywhere in the country. We've got sludge dams all over where there's mining operations, but we don't have a clarity, even from the DMR itself, as to under what licenses these are supposed to be held and how best to make sure that calamities such as this are avoided. So therefore, it means people that are residing in mining towns are at risk, are exposed to the toxic sludge that is sent out by these dams, as well as the possibility of collapse of the very same dams.
When it comes to the compensation that you are seeking from the parties that will be implicated after the necessary investigations, I'm assuming this will also cover the medical costs as well, because people have reacted negatively to the toxicity of the sludge, but also have needed medical attention by being affected. And then there were also farmers who lost a lot on their farms because of the sludge and, of course, threatening the food security in the area. So I'm assuming it's going to cover those aspects as well once everything is finalized.
Our instructions, as per the municipality as well as per the individuals that are affected, is wide-ranging. One, we'd look at the losses of maintenance for the kids of a deceased person that died as a result of the sludge dam collapse. Second, there are people that have lost properties, houses. We are prioritizing that. Thirdly, there are people that have ended up in hospitals, injured as a result of the sludge dam collapse. We are seeking to get them compensated also. Over and above, we're also going to do a study in respect of the exposure itself to the toxic waste which came out of the dam. And we're also going to make sure that we compensate for people that have lost properties, like, for example, your cars, your household furniture, and those that have lost farmland as well as their own cattle and other animals. So we're going to make sure that we do a wide-ranging study that covers everything that has been suffered as a result of the dam collapse.